And we want to take a live look at the White House as well this morning. President Donald Trump has ordered that flags be flown at half-staff through Sunday after political activist Charlie Kirk was shot and killed during a political event in Utah. President Trump is calling it a, quote, dark moment for America. And Caroline Shively is live in Washington with the latest.
Good morning to you, Natalie. The FBI has been reaching out to the public for help in solving the murder of Charlie Kirk. We are set to get another update from the FBI special agent in charge, as well as Utah's Department of Public Safety at the top of the hour.
Conservative activist Charlie Kirk was shot while speaking to students at Utah Valley University yesterday. The fatal bullet hit Kirk in the neck as he was taking questions from the audience.
We hear a shot, and then just a wave of blood come out of his chest.
The crowd screamed and scattered as Kirk's security team rushed him to the hospital, where doctors fought and failed to save his life. Back on campus, authorities announced they had a man in custody, but released him a few hours later.
That he did not match the shooting suspect and was not an accurate person of interest.
Kirk co-founded Turning Point USA in 2012 as a teenager and quickly became a major player in the right-wing movement. His social media alone reached over 100 million people per month.
His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever.
Congressional members on both sides of the aisle quickly condemned the shooting of the married father of two.
It's completely appalling. It's frightening for everyone.
Political violence must be called out, and it has to stop.
But as word spread that Kirk had died, a moment of silence to honor him on the House floor devolved into a partisan shouting match.
The House will be in order.
Vice President J.D. Vance was set to be at Ground Zero for 9/11 anniversary today. He will now travel to Utah to pay his respects to Charlie Kirk's family. Natalie, back to you.
Thank you so much, Caroline. And we want to bring in security expert Michael Verden with the Lake Forest Group. And Michael, I want to start with where this investigation stands. How striking is it to you at this hour that still the suspect is at large?
Yeah, I am surprised that the suspect is still at large. I know what the investigation will include right now is they'll be talking to witnesses, people that were at the event yesterday, also people in the area. They'll also be looking at all the cameras on the campus that were nearby, also people that had phones and, you know, took photos and videos yesterday. If they would come forward. They're also going to look at phone records to see which phones were in the area, including the assailants. And they'll be looking at a digital footprint of any activity that was nefarious against Mr. Kirk or that event from yesterday.
Okay, so they're going to be keeping all of those things in mind. The difficulty of securing an outdoor event. We know with President Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania, there was an assassination attempt. The suspect shooting from a rooftop. Police have indicated in this particular instance that they believe that the shooter was on a rooftop. Talk about the difficulty of securing an outdoor event like that.
Yeah, and that's a comparison. The tragedy yesterday and what occurred a year ago in Butler. And the common denominator is that assailant is outside what they're calling their perimeter, but when you're planning for an event like this in an open air environment, you have to look at the contiguous area. You have to look, the Secret Service right now is going 1,000 yards away from where the stage is, and that's changed because of Butler. And yesterday, supposedly the assailant was 200 yards away. So when you secure the venue, you have to secure those buildings. You know, and when I say secure the building, just locking that building up so you know no one's allowed in that building. And if you see someone, that's a red flag.
You know, attending one of these events, we've got the midterm elections just around the corner. I'm sure some of our viewers are interested in attending political rallies. How safe is it at this point, and what would you advise them to do to watch out for their own safety?
Yeah, it goes back to the people hosting the event and what are they doing. There's three major components here. One is the planning of the event. You know, they had 6 security officers from the university. You also have to plan with state and local authorities. Also, you have to plan with the private security Mr. Kirk had. The attendees should be familiar with the venue. So if there is some type, what occurred yesterday, they should know the egress routes out of there. They should be able to know their environment, and if they have to leave, leave as quickly as possible.
What route do you take? You know, because I think of the Las Vegas shooter who just kept on shooting people who were trying to scramble for safety.
Yeah.
I mean, you certainly don't want to stay where you are, I wouldn't think, but are you better off trying to hide behind something? What would you advise?
Yeah, so everyone's familiar with run, hide, fight. It's part of our lexicon now. So I always advise to initially to hide, to stay in place, because you make a very good point. If you go with the sequence of run first, you could be running towards the threat. So it's better to kind of get your situational awareness, get your bearings, and determine how can I get away from the threat, not running towards the threat.
Michael Verden, thank you again for your expertise. You always provide such great insight for us here on Good Day Chicago.